we run behind now, you probably have to go a little faster.
You're just wanting to go fast, aren't you?
I'm trying to help the situation.
Now, I actually did get to go in the pace car not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
Our boss took us all for a lap. And when he brought somebody back and he told them, tell Margaret, come on if she wants to go. And I hesitated. I was like, oh, I'm a little scared. But then I thought, oh, there ain't no way I'm going to turn this down. No way. So he took me around about 3 laps. And it feels like you're in an airplane. It feels like you're flying around that track. You definitely get a view like no other when you're going around it.
At Charlotte, they do a deal where you pay like $75 and they'll take you like on a 3 laps in a race car wide. Did they do that here too or something?
Yeah, they do. They do that ever so often. And also here, they were doing, which they're not doing it now because of the construction, but they let people bring your own car and do laps. It's like $50 a car. You can have as many people in your car as long as everybody has a seatbelt. And it goes to charity. So we had a lot of people would come out and do that. So I don't know if they're going to start that back again after they get all the construction done. They probably will. This track was built in 1969. And Mr. Bill France decided that he wanted to build a track that was bigger, faster, longer, everything better and bigger than Daytona's, because he had built Daytona too. So he wanted to outdo himself. So he started looking for land to build this speedway. But actually his first choice was not here in Talladega. His first choice was in North Carolina. He started looking up there in Orange County, found some land, but the deal just never worked out. So glad for us it didn't. So then after that deal fell through, he started looking for some land on I-20. He knew he wanted it to be somewhere between Atlanta and Birmingham. And he found this old spot here that used to be an Air Force base. It was called the Anniston Air Force Base. It's the Air Force base they actually used in the 40s. So when he found this, he worked out the deal, and the rest is history. So the very first race that was set to go, he had sold about 30,000 tickets, and it was boycotted by a lot of the drivers. The Professional Drivers Association, a union, it was headed up by Richard Petty at that time. Also in that group was Bobby Allison, Donnie Allison, Kelly Yarborough, and a few other, about 15 other drivers. They thought this track was too dangerous. They thought there would be no way they would have sufficient tire grip with the tires they had at that time. So they boycotted it. So Mr. France, which we were told not too long ago by Richard Childress, that Richard was one of those original drivers, and he said that Mr. France offered them all an extra $1,000 bonus if they would race, because he needed to have a race. He had sold all those tickets. So the man that won that race was Richard Brickhouse, and would you believe that was Mr. Brickhouse's first and only win? And of course we know that the other drivers got on board. They raced a lot here at Talladega. So we are going through the North Tunnel. This is one of 2 tunnels that we have right now. When we come out right here, you can take a look back and get your first glimpse at how steep the turns really are. You're going to see turns 3 and 4 behind us. And as we come up here, you can see the grandstand.
Oh my gosh, it's like sideways.
Yeah.
The grandstand stretches for an entire mile all the way across the front stretch. It has 80,000 seats, but with the extra balconies, the corporate suites, the media box, and all of that, it will accommodate about 100,000 people. And a little interesting fact, a lot of people don't know, the reason they chose the color scheme that they have is the alternating black, red, and white seats. They do a lot of commercials here throughout the year, so when they're filming, they want it to look like the stands are full of people. The area in front of us, inside this black fence, that's where all the drivers and the owners park their luxury motor coaches for the week. They will have their drivers bring them in, set them up, have them ready when they fly in. So it does become their home for the weekend. It's complete with a little playground for their children, and it has a little racetrack around it. The building to our left here, the white building, is the J.L. Hardwick Care Center. It becomes the Infield Hospital / clinic during race. It'll be staffed with doctors and nurses from Grandview Hospital in Birmingham. It's here for anybody who needs it. Drivers, fans, anybody, as long as you have your ticket in hand. If you get sick or hurt while you're here, you can come and they will treat you at no charge. Of course, if they have to send you somewhere else, then it becomes your own responsibility. It has the helicopter pad right in front. They will have a helicopter sitting there on ready should they need to airlift someone to Birmingham. Birmingham from here is about a 40-minute drive, but on that helicopter, they say they can make it there in 10 minutes. So we are getting onto the track. This track is 2.66 miles around. So Mr. France did accomplish his goal. Daytona's is 2.5. On the left, you can see the garages that the Cup Series cars do use. It's a 62-bay garage. There's 31 on this side, 31 on the other side. Right here along this fence is where all the car haulers are going to be lined up. I'm going to take out onto pit road. So as we're coming in here, you can see the skid marks where the drivers are trying to slow down, because by the time they get to this yellow line right here in front of us, they have to be 55 or below. They tell me they may give them a little, 5 mile per hour grace. I don't know, but the drivers are trying to slow down. Their pit crews are going to be set up right here. As the drivers are coming in, looking for their flag, getting in their spot, their pit crew is going to jump this blue wall, fill it up with gas, change 4 tires in about 12 seconds or less. I used to think that the pit crew were mechanics, but actually they're not mechanics, they are athletes.
Yeah.
They have to work out, stay in shape, practice that time every day, just over and over, numerous times. Okay, beside us, those 2 buildings, the driver meeting building and then the media center building. The driver meeting building, at some point before race, they roll out the red carpet, all the drivers go in, all the fans will be lined up there trying to snap pictures and get autographs. To the left is the Sunoco Station. Sunoco is the official fuel of NASCAR. They have a contract with NASCAR. Just in front of us to the right, the tallest part of this grandstand, at the very top up there is where the spotters sit. Each car has 2 spotters. They have to be up there the entire race. They can't leave, they can't take breaks. They have to be in constant communication with that driver, watching their car. And on the left here is the Gatorade Victory Lane. That's where the winner is going to pull his car up onto the platform. They have the celebration and get his trophy and I guess the big check. I know they used to hand them that big old check. I don't know if they still do that or not. Maybe not. Maybe that's old-timey. Now, if you need me to stop, I can't let you out. They won't let us let anybody out anymore, but I can stop if you need me to take a picture. So just let me know. The two stands here on the left under the Goodyear canopies. This is called the Paddock Club, and you can get a package ticket deal. If you get the package for both Saturday and Sunday race, it's $400. That would include tickets, all your food and drinks. They will serve breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snacks both days. It's unlimited beer, soda, and water. You get to park your car right behind the stands. They have their own restrooms, and you also get to tour the garage. Plus, you get to sit and watch the pit crews work. So there is a waiting list always for that, but if you're ever interested, you could get your name on the list, and eventually you would get tickets. And once you do get a ticket, you'll always get first choice after that. The garages here on the left, these are for the Xfinity Series cars, and it's also the garage that's used when they do the NASCAR driving experience. The building up above, the beige building, that's where the NASCAR officials are going to be, and also the sports broadcasters. So right here is the start and finish line. You can see the flag stand up there. They've just recently painted this pink and black. It used to be black and white. And over to the right, you can see where the last winner did his victory donut right there. The corporate boxes are lined up right here. They're owned by different corporations. The only one that I know of, I know the Coca-Cola company owns one or more. Some of those are owned by people that will rent them out. They have air conditioning, big screens, Wi-Fi, their own restrooms. The yellow line beside us, the double line from there to the white wall, is the racing area. It's 48 feet. And right here you can get a good look at the barrier wall. When this track was first built, and for many years after that, all they had was just that original concrete wall. You can see the one that's sticking up a little higher that the fence is attached to. So whenever the cars hit a wall, they were just hitting a concrete wall. So with modern technology and engineering, they came up with a safer wall. So what you're looking at now is made out of cube steel and styrofoam block. So now when they hit the wall, it's more of a cushion. And you can see as we go around, they hit the wall pretty often. Lots of dents and scratches. So for race weekend beforehand, they bring in a load of those segments that they use, those steel segments. They'll have them stacked up over in the infield near turn 3, so they'll have extras if they have to repair them.
Yeah.
So here we're going to come up on turn 1. You get to see how steep it really is.
Y'all should sit
We want to feel the steepness.
Look at that.
You know, we used to let people get out and climb and all, but they don't let us do that no
Oh, I
more.
want to get out. I want you to get up there.
Oh, you want me to race around it?
Yeah.
It's pretty scary up there, let me tell you.
That's why I said when you said you was going 25, I said she ain't gonna be up there. It's gonna feel like we flip over.
Yeah, this bus would definitely tumble down that hill. And they tell me that, like from the top
It's
all the way down,
taller
it's
than
equivalent
here.
to a 4-story building. So, wow.
That's
like
crazy.
vertical,
I know, that's
yeah.
crazy.
It's 33 degrees. And it is the steepest banks. Daytona's are 32, and then I think everybody else's is below that.
guess that's why they call it self-cleaning, huh?
That's right,
Stay
yes.
up there when you're ready.
Self-cleaning. Now this track has been repaved 4 times since 1969. The last time they repaved it was in 2006, and it took them 4 months to do it. And I tell you, I would love to see how they do it. I don't know how they pave this like that. They have the state highway inspectors come and inspect it just like they do other highways. They said technically it's considered a highway, so it has to be inspected. But I'm always thinking it's like a special kind of, asphalt instead of just regular. But I did see when they started digging it up, and y'all see over here where they're doing the new tunnel, when they started digging it up, it was really thick asphalt. So maybe they make it really thicker than other normal highways. I don't know. And back over behind here, we can't see it, but there's a small airport. It's the Talladega Municipal Airport. A lot of the drivers fly their own planes or have their own planes flown in there. It's small, so it's not big enough to accommodate all of the airplanes. So a lot of them will also fly into Anniston, which is 20 miles east of here on I-20. So we're coming out of turn 2, headed down the back stretch at, let's see, 20 miles per hour. Hold on. So they named this the Alabama Gang Super Stretch to honor those guys from Alabama. The ones that I know of are Donnie and Bobby Allison, Davey Allison, Neil Bonnet, Red Farmer. Are any of y'all familiar with Red Farmer? He's in his 80s. I think he's somewhere near 85. And he still races at the dirt track. So just down the road a little ways, we have a dirt track. They race every weekend, and pretty much every weekend, Red Farmer's there racing. He wins. He wins too. So he said as long as he can lift his foot up on that gas pedal, he said he's going to keep racing. Somehow or another. So as I said earlier, this is built on the old Anniston Air Force Base. So when they built the track, they decided to leave the runways. So if you ever see a picture that someone took, an aerial view, you can see an X right in the middle of the infield, and that's the original runways that are still in place. They use those for camping. They rent it. They have the spots marked off like a parking lot, and they rent those out. And during race week, they'll be full of campers and RVs. So right down here is where they're building the new big tunnel. Right there is where ever since this track was built, right there is where all the big vehicles have always come across to go inside. They've always kind of done a little damage to the track right in that spot. They usually will bottom out. And then they started bringing in little tracks. I don't know what you officially call those things, like little ramps, I guess. Ramps that they would put over from and come through, but still it just didn't quite protect the track. So now they are building a tunnel that's going to go under right there, and all those big vehicles can come and go as they please, and they won't have to come across the track anymore. Somebody told us that we should have, when they dug up this asphalt, broke it in pieces and sold it, sold part of the track. They said they did that for Route 66 at some point, somewhere where they redid it.
That's crazy.
So that tunnel is scheduled to be done before the spring race in April. And then after that, they're going to start doing renovations on the infield. They're going to build a large building. It's going to be kind of like a mall food court, something like that. It's gonna be large. They're gonna have, where you can get food and drinks, and they're gonna have places to sit and relax and big screen TVs. And also on the outside of the building on both sides, they're gonna have actual garages that are gonna house the top 10 cars. So now people will be able to just walk around and check out those cars as they want to. And then all of that is supposed to be done by the fall race. The infield has about 220,000 acres just on the infield. The entire property of this is 3,000 acres. We have 6 campgrounds on the outside, plus camping on the infield. So during race weekend, we're going to have about 50,000 campers out here.
What are we doing now? Polish victory lap?
We're doing a victory lap, yes. We're backtracking. We're gonna go around here and do some donuts.
Oh.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Eat some donuts.
And right here is the south tunnel. You can see the road that leads under right here. And this one has a pedestrian walkway. The north tunnel where we came through doesn't. They will have people, trams, they'll bring people through there. So we'll have trams that run from every campground back and forth, bringing people to the front gate where the guard shack is, and then they can catch a tram that'll bring them on in to their seat. Or the people that park back behind here, they can go walk through here. That's a lot of walking, or they can catch a tram also. So a lot of my friends, my regular job, I drive a school bus. So a lot of my school bus friends come out here and work during race driving the trams. And oh my goodness, some of the stories they have to tell. I forgot to tell y'all, back over on the back stretch, that area behind that fence on the back stretch is RV parking. It's called the Bobby Allison Ridge, and it's really expensive to me. A couple of $1,000 parking spots back there. They say it's a good view and just a lot of amenities they get back there.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How do they handle the water on the track, like on a race day or something like that?
I know they don't race when it's wet. I think they just
Try to wait it out, or?
yeah, they have to wait it out. So I'm not really sure.
That's what.
I know I've seen them before, like how. I don't know if it's the pace cars or something, just drive around trying to dry them. But yeah, if it rains, they just sometimes the race is even postponed. If it's like a day like today, they would postpone it till Monday, which has happened quite often. Because they don't do night races here, only day races. So if it rains them out, then they have to wait until Monday.
Yeah, I don't see no giant stadium lights in it.
I'm sorry?
So they don't have any of those like giant stadium lights.
No.
So
No, sure don't. No lights.
When they installed the lights in Charlotte in the early 90s, they had Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty and one other driver come up. And what they did was it was like on a Thursday night, and I rode up there for it. Because they had just put lights all around the track. That was a big deal. That was one of the first tracks to get lights all around.
Oh, really?
And what they did was they told you what was going to happen. They had them running around the track wide open. Then they cut the lights, and the generators come on. And the generators would only light up half the track. And they wanted to see what would happen if that happened in a race.
Oh.
And it was pretty cool. The cars would come out of turn 2, and they'd go into blackness, and they'd come back into turn 3. Because when the generators come on, I don't know why, but the generators only run like the turns in the front stretch.
Yeah.
You could see them in the shadow. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
We rode up there just for that, because then that following weekend was going to be the first night race up there. That was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
And the back stretch used to have a grandstand. It would seat about 20,000 people, but when they decided to put in this new stand over here, they took that out and just made that all the RVs camping. But these new stands, they tried to make them more comfortable. They're made out of plastic and they're wider and they have armrests and cup holders. So. We do have a lot of people that will come out here and camp in tents. They never run out of tent spots. If